It's HPR, All Things Considered, and I'm Dave Lawrence. Welcoming back a cat we've had a bunch with us. It is a sometime resident of Hawaii, one-time member of the band Traffic. It's Dave Mason. Dave's back. He's got a new book, Only You Know and I Know, riffing on his hit of the same name with the title there, and filled with cool stories. Just filled with them, brimming, I like to say. And let's dig into some now. Dave.
Yeah, hi.
It's a great thing to have you back on the show. Obviously, we've had you on many times here, Only You Know and I Know. Now, ever since reading it, now I've got the song stuck in my head for like a earworm kind of deal. But one of the cool things about this is, and I'm hoping you'll take the role of storyteller really to heart, because there's a real opportunity here from head to toe. I always love the books. And while there are a lot of stars in it, your mom is a star in a lot of ways in your journey. And I was hoping you'd take us from the journey by sea and air with your mom, which leads to really how you got to the guitar, and ironically by way of the ukulele.
I don't remember what exact year it was, but it would have been in the 50s. But anyway, my sister, that was basically 18 years older than me, she moved to America in the early 50s. I forget how old I was, roughly, probably about 11 or so. But my mother and I went and visited her. She moved to San Diego. I came here then to the U.S., came over on the Queen Mary. Flight across America was 7 hours in a DC-7. People used to dress nicely. The service was impeccable. So that was my introduction to coming to America. And while staying with her, I found that little ukulele in a trash can one day rummaging around and just started messing around with it. Not that I really knew what the hell I was doing or anything.
But it opened the door.
Well, I guess. I was into music in school. I was always in the plays, and I was in the school choir.
There's a time that you are a roadie for the Spencer Davis Group. And ironically, There's a night that Steve Winwood himself does not show up. Pick up the story.
Well, I sort of played around at being a roadie for about 3 months prior to Steve officially leaving the Spencer Davis Group and Traffic forming. And yeah, he didn't turn up for a show one night. And Spencer was like, "Well, Dave, come on, you can get up and take his place." I'm like, "What are you, nuts?" I'm 18, 19 years old. And, Steve Winwood was sort of one of those people that was born naturally with talent. Me, I kind of had to work for it. So at the time, I really, I didn't feel it was like, "You nuts, I can't do this." And so he goes, "No, come on. You can do it. So we get up and did it. I guess we pulled it off, and everybody seemed happy enough.
Those are the kind of things that happen a few times for Dave. Now, there's another one that connects him to an even, it's a remarkable one. It's March 1967. The Who do not show up for a gig that you happen to be at as a fan.
Oh, yeah, me and Capaldi. Yeah, it was the Malvern Winter Gardens. They didn't show up, but their gear was all set up, ready to do a show, because the roadies, who we knew, that Jim and I decided, you know what, to hell with it. The gear's already here, guys. And the roadies were like, "Yeah, come on, why don't you just get up there?" So me and Jim got up there, and Jim on drums, and I had Pete Townsend's rig. And on the microphone, I just said, "Anybody out there play bass?" Somebody jumped up on stage, and I forget what the hell we even did, but we just thrashed around for a while. And then the end of the show just trashed everything. The amps, the drums, but the roadies joined in with that one.
And you smashed Pete Townsend's guitar yourself. How crazy is that? Pete's guitar. Did you ever get to tell Pete Townsend that story?
I met him a couple of times. I didn't actually.
Okay, sometimes you just don't get a chance to do that. Now, there's an interesting thing. Another thing is Dave's fascinating love lives, I guess. I was trying to think of the correct grammar for that. There's lots of girls that factor throughout the book. There's a girlfriend in the late 60s, Carol Russell. Now, Carol, talented artist who designed the Traffic logo, in fact, among output that she did. She also was doing some interesting stuff for the Beatles that led to your first encounter with Paul McCartney. Leads to Abbey Road and really to another Beatle, George.
Well, she was at the Royal College of Art, and Paul had hired her she was making this couch, a transparent couch that had all the characters from the Sgt. Pepper album in it. And so Paul, one evening, had come by to see how things were going with it. And that's basically how I got to meet him. And he was a Traffic fan. And that led, of course, to, I would go down to Abbey Road when they were recording. And that led to a very cool relationship with George.
Well, they're guys that come up again and again throughout the book. So this is just
one. They do. George gave me his sitar that he first started working on to play around with. Actually played me in his house. Went down to visit him in Esher, and he played me the first time I heard Sgt. Pepper he played me he said, well, want to hear the new album? I was like, yeah, sure. Absolutely. That was my introduction to Sgt. Pepper.
You have a powerful run-in at a private London club. This is January 1968. It would lead to you being on an epic recording by this artist. Tell the story. I guess this is one of the first encounters with Jimi Hendrix.
Well, I saw Hendrix when he first came over in the same place McCartney first saw him. In fact, Paul may have been there that night. I don't remember. A little tiny place called Scotch of St. James.
Right, that's it.
Chas Chandler sort of dragged him around these little clubs, and he just got up and plugged in and started jamming with this little band that was playing. It was like, oh my God, who the hell is this guy? Then later, there was another club called Blazes, and he was there one night sitting at a table by himself, and I just sort of basically just sat down and said, hey man, I'm just a huge fan, and started talking, and he was a fan of Traffic's, and that's how I struck up a sort of friendship with Hendrix, which led to me being, at the one time I had left at that period, the first time I left Traffic, actually things weren't going well with Noel Redding. So we were seriously talking about me joining the band as the bass player. And so I got to record and do some stuff with Hendrix. One of them was All Along the Watchtower, sang on Crosstown Traffic. At that point, it was, we a couple of times with him late at night at his apartment, just playing records. So there were times we'd hung out before doing a session. So we were both, went over to a girlfriend of his who had a copy of the John Wesley Harding album, which we went over one afternoon to listen to with. There was a few other people there, and I guess something struck him about Watchtower. It was like, yeah, come on, I'm going down the studio. Come on down and let's work on this. The track was basically just laid down with me and him and Mitch Mitchell.
You have a great shot in the book. There's some cool pictures, by the way. I should give that a plug in the book. You get to see some neat pictures. One of them is a Jimmy. It looks like you guys are getting on a plane. Do I have that wrong? You flew some
yeah.
Where were you going?
That was for a festival over in Amsterdam. Traffic, Hendrix, I forget who else was on that show.
And y'all were flying from England to Amsterdam, I'm taking it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Well, there's so many great stories in this thing. I hope people enjoy it as much as I did, because if you know the late 60s, early 70s, then the book Only You Know and I Know, a lot of the same as Dave's songs, the stories are going to be familiar to you. It's a great book. I hope that you've had fun talking about it today with us. And when are you going to be back in Hawaii? You're on the mainland now, yeah?
I am. And we'll probably be back there in the fall, through Christmas and stuff and New Year's. And then I have a song that a cool song called Mangoes where I'm donating.
Lahaina Slant, I imagine.
Yeah. Some of the money back to the welfare. If people want to go to the website and check it out.
DaveMasonMusic.com.
Yeah, because I have an awesome mango tree in our garden over there in Wailea. So I wrote this song called Mangoes.
It makes more sense than writing about papaya. Dave, be safe, brother. And it was great. Did you have fun? Was this okay?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Absolutely.
And giving you a big hug and a high five. Say hi to Winifred, and we'll catch you the next time around, my friend.
I love Hawaii. Mahalo.
Right on. Stay safe, Dave.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Yep.